might. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaming life so bright. Rev it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. All our might. Thrill the place, thrill the place.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rock and roll here this evening with the HCK Beagles Truck Series. The HCK Beagles Racing League takes on the beautiful Chicago Street Race here this afternoon. We are in the beautiful Chicago, Illinois here this afternoon. This is going to be a lot of fun. Absolutely beautiful scenery, absolutely beautiful racetrack and city. And for these truck drivers to unload their rides and get to battle here on the boulevards, on the racetrack, it's going to be a ton of fun as they gotta catch 'em all 40 here this evening, powered by all of our amazing sponsors. As each and every one of these drivers get ready to go to battle, they get ready to duke it out. Is my boy Jeremy Vaughn. Jeremy coming in with the like on the stream. Frets for Pets coming in with that share. Dimitri Curtis and Josh Ledoux coming in with the shares as well. As K-Dub Kevin Winker says, 32 trucks for a street course. Good luck everyone tonight. I'm just trying to survive. Thanks for the broadcast. I got you, K-Dub. And yes, I think that is going to be the key here for pretty much every one of these drivers here tonight, chat. It's going to be survival. That's the main thing. That is the main thing that each and every one of them is going to be trying to do out there on the speedway as we'll get them locked in, ready to rock and roll here. And starting on the pole, we're waiting for our pole sitter here to load into the sim, but the 16 truck, that is Alex Pelican. Alex will start in position number 2 here this afternoon. So he'll start there in second. Is starting in that pole third position. It's Tyson Pankow, the Dirt Track Junkies ride. Looks like he's potentially going to move up here. Yeah, looks like Jacob Groove, who qualified in that pole position, is going to have to start from pit road. So a heartbreaker there for that number 18 machine. So Pankow now moves that pole position out there on the racetrack. Then we see John McCullich there in position number 4, supposed to be. Now into third is another Dirt Track Junkies ride. That is Josh Peacock. Starting in position number 5 now in that 5 right. That is Nicholas Snyder, who was outside in the 77. That is Mr. Brandon DeMay. Cal Turbeville back there in that Klondike number 64 line, back in 7th with the Ed Koshersberger there in position number 8. Then we see Jason LePan and the number 83 Josh Ely rounding out our top 10. Nick Gardner, Austin Gustafson back in 11th and 12th. Nate Maurer back in 13th with Zach Michael. And then we see John Herbert, Nathaniel Ostrowiski, Neil Lampenis in that OsuckOutdoors.com. Friends for Pets, the Juke joint, number 26, right back there in 17th. Bobby Blair there to his inside. Then we see Mark Beverly, Josh Ledoux, Brian Chu, Ryan Peterson in the Ridge Power Sports, KR Gutters, number 469 ride. William Klein, another one of the Dirt Track Junkies rides out there on the Speedway, getting ready to rock and roll back in 23rd. Brandon Eastman, Matt Langley, Tim Blankenbeckler back there in 26. Then we see that 31 ride, the Juke joint, the Friends for Pets, and number 31 of Robert McDonald. He's back in 27th with Brett Summers. Robert Howard bringing up the rear of the active drivers. It looks like Kyle Van Tassel, Kevin Winker, and our pole sitter, what was supposed to be our pole sitter in that Pop Smoke number 18 ride, is going to start down pit side as well. So 32 trucks getting ready to rock and roll. 3 of them will start from pit road, so maybe a very good thing here. This start back there on pit road, maybe try to stay out of some of the chaos that we may see here. We go green flag racing, as Jeremy Vaughn says, turn 1 will be key. Turn 1 will definitely be key here in this one, as he says, Pankow, Peacock, and Ely Wah, they are lost in this dirt race, and laugh out loud. Good luck, fellas. Yeah, for those drivers, man, there's a couple of them, especially the Dirt Track Junkies rides, you know, kind of started in race on the dirt track. So to see them out here now in on the street course of Chicago, that's very, very exciting. That's going to be very fun to see how they're going to be able to handle it. Is what's good, Richard? Mr. Bradshaw coming in, show the love as well. Janelle says, let's go Team HP Motorsports. Bradshaw says, let's go LePan. Let's thank the broadcaster, do amazing work. I appreciate that, Bradshaw, coming in. Show the love here in this one. And all you guys got to do to help show the support, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button, as we will end all the anticipation with our feature presentation, as we are quickly green flag racing, and here they go down into corner number 1, door to door at the front of the field, as the 91 rider Tyson Pankow now not in the preferred line into corner number 2. He had that preferred line down through corner number 1, but maybe taking it a little too easy. In that 16 rider Alex Pelican in the Bucky's ride will take quick advantage of it. He'll jump into that top spot as Pankow back to second, and then it's a dogfight all the way back here. Everyone trying to figure out what they got, where they can move, and where they can go out there on the racetrack, as we see a couple of those drivers down on pit road. They are now active down through corner number 2. Here you see Kyle Van Tassel, Kevin Winker already trying to keep himself out of trouble right there, and Jacob Grube, he's out there as well on the racetrack. Now it does show Grube as a lap down, but he is not a lap down, as he was able to quickly jump out there. Now you see some more drivers running into problems there. I do believe that is the number, I believe that's the number 88 ride, Will Klein. Klein running into some issues right there, getting into the outside fence there ever so slightly. Is out in front. We do see some more drivers running into problems. It's Brandon Eastman. Eastman having an issue here. Let's take a look and see what happens to that 12 ride, as the Auto Trader number 12 of Eastman. He rolls up to the high side here, looking for a big run down into the next corner. Unfortunately, looks like he may run into some issues. Just gets onto the gas a little too much, not onto the brake quick enough there to make that corner, and unfortunately has to lock him up, has to get slow there on the racetrack to be able to make that corner and not see himself get destroyed. As out in front and leading the first lap here this afternoon, it is Alex Pelican. Pelican leads that first lap here this evening. Tyson Pankow back there in position number 2 is Josh Peacock, rolls there in 3rd. John McCulloch there in 4th with Nicholas Snyder. Now rounding out our top 5 is Cal Turbeville there in position number 6. Nick Gardner now up into 7th as Jason LePan right behind him in that Tech Warrior number 20 ride in position number 8. Brandon DeMay back there, as well as Austin Gustafson. We see some more drivers running into some problems here. We see a few of them run into some big problems out there on the racetrack. Let's see if we can get another look at it here, as it looks like Nate Maurer potentially having an issue out here in that ESR electric ride. contact into the wall back there behind him. He's got that beautiful, oh man, heavy hit right there, and a couple drivers going to follow him through and into that fence. That was that 14 rider, Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. Then we see this number 83 machine also going to run into some problems here as well. The 38, sorry, of Joshua Ledoux. Ledoux, this is down the front straightaway, down across the start-finish line here. Ledoux is going to send it into corner number 1, and unfortunately gets in there a little too hot maybe, and yeah, just slams into that outside fence, and I do believe there's a couple of drivers that are going to end up following him through there as he actually takes that car right down pit side here. Let's take a look as the 87 rider, John Herbert, may have ran into the same problems here as he kind of follows that 38 right in. Unfortunately, they both break at the wrong time, and you'll see the 26. Oh, Lapidus slides in there and actually takes out that beautiful number 87 ride. The Ridge Power Sports ride getting some pretty heavy damage right there. Now he's trying to back that thing up. Everyone's trying to avoid him here. There's Brandon Eastman. Everyone trying to just snake through there, and unfortunately, some pretty big hits right there. As we did see, this is Robert Howard, Brett Summers, all these drivers, they're getting checked up, trying to avoid that spun out car, the couple spun out cars right there. Luckily enough, they are able to get checked up there and avoid any serious contact or damage. But then we did see Josh Peacock. Peacock also runs into a problem here. Now, he was running up at the front of the field, and for Peacock down into, I don't even know what quarter this is, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 21's going to get down to his inside. They're going to make a little contact. That's going to give him a love nudge right there, and that's going to get him sideways, turned around the wrong direction. He's going to get a little contact there into the fence, trying to get this thing turned back around, and unfortunately see all these drivers just steamroll right on around him as he finally gets that car pointed back in the right direction, as each and every one of them trying to race their way up to the front here. Neil Lapidus, he's still running into problems. Joshua Ledoux down pit side. It's Alex Pelican out in front who's leading this race. So Pelican out in front showing these drivers how to get it done here in this one. Pankow right there in position number 2, not too far away from him here. John McCulloch now into 3rd as Nicholas Snyder back there in 4th. You see a little contact right there. A good jump to the back bumper as Nick Gardner trying to get that number 64 line a little bent out of shape down into down in and through that corner there, and unfortunately for that number 64, he's going to run into some problems. And now we do see some drivers headed down pit road here as well. Here comes that 5 ride, Nicholas Ely. Ely heads down pit side. Joshua Ledoux still down pit road here. You'll see Jacob Group coming back down pit road as well. So a couple drivers coming in to the pits. You see Neil Lapidus now down pit side. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, he's down pit road here in that 32nd spot on the racetrack as well. So a couple drivers making some green flag pit stops here early on in this race. Here comes Robert McDonald, the Juke joint Friends for Pets ride. He heads down pit side as everyone else just steamrolling around him here. So drivers already in the thick of it here this afternoon, whether or not it's running into problems, running into some contact out there, or potentially just having to serve some pass-through penalties there, as we did see the 88 ride. Will Klein run into some problems here as well. Klein really having to get checked up right there. Luckily enough, does get that car fairly checked up, but I'm not sure. Maybe runs into some problems here off corner number 2. Yep, there it is. Heavy contact into the safer barrier there. Those tires in corner number 2 here for that 88 ride, as he's just going to get in there too hot, slides up the racetrack and slams right into that outside fence right there. Heavy left front damage there for that 88 machine. Now we see Nate Maurer. Maurer's going to run into some more problems here as he's down pit road. I'm not sure where the mistake or where the damage could happen here, as Maurer down on pit lane trying to get this truck going. Looks like he's already got some heavy left front damage, but trying to roll back out onto the racetrack, and that's just where iRacing calls that an issue out there on the speedways. That's going to be the key to everything here this evening, is going to be survival. And right now, this number 16 ride, he is in survival mode at the front of the field as he is trying to stretch out that race lead early on, as the love nudge, says Richard Bradshaw. Yeah, the love nudge is for certain out there, as a couple of shots. Drivers trying to work their way to the front of the field. Drivers trying to put themselves into a winning position here this evening, as each and every one of them trying to battle their way up towards the front, as Dimitri says, let's go at a baseball game, but I'm going to try to keep up. Let's go, baby. What baseball game you at? Like an MLB game, or just like a local high school or college game, or what kind of game are you at here? As Dimitri says, come on, Trench, cheered on Trench out there on the racetrack. Jeremy says, a lot of hurt right front already. Yeah, there is a lot of pain being felt out there on the racetrack. Drivers probably, for the first time or for the first time in a long time, really experiencing these NASCAR trucks at this racetrack. It's the first time I've even seen this racetrack on the simulator. So we're still trying to learn it a little bit out there. There's a lot of sharp turns. There's a lot of big, wide sweeping corners out there as well that we like to see, and see all these drivers continue to battle at. I believe this is corner number 9 that the 16 right heads into. Now down into corner number 10 out there on the racetrack. Now this is going to go up this big old hill right here. It's over a bridge, I do believe, here, and he gets a big run, sends it down into corner number 12 on the racetrack. Okay, I guess that's corner number 12. And back down across the start-finish line as he continues to stretch out that race lead. It's now 5 seconds, the gap here between himself and that 91 of Tyson Pankow. So Pankow still holding on to second. Now he's got a pretty sizable gap between himself and John McCulloch as McCulloch rolls there in position number 3. Nick Gardner now up into 4th. He's been a man on a mission, racing his way up towards the front here, up 8 spots on the racetrack. Jason LePan right there with him, the Tech Warrior ride, now into position number 5. Cal unfortunately slides back to 6 as Brandon and Meng there in 7th in the 77 ride. Austin Gustafson early on up 5 positions, trying to get his inner SVG on here, using that SVG paint scheme here on that 71 truck and trying to race his way up towards the front of the field. Ed Koshersberger back there in 9th. Josh Ely rounding out our top 10, but he's got a fast truck right here on his back bumper. That's Bobby Blair. Bobby Blair in that Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters number 75 ride. He's up 11 positions on the racetrack right now. He is one of our hard chargers out there on the racetrack. Is Ryan Peterson back in position number 16, another one of those Ridge Power Sports rides. He's got that street course kind of paint scheme on that car, looking very good out there on the speedway as always. And Peterson, he's up 13 spots on the speedway right now. So up 13 positions, feeling good, feeling strong out there on the racetrack for Ryan Peterson. Will Klein also up 12 spots here, even with that heavy left front damage. He is still rolling pretty good out there. Trench also up 11 spots on the racetrack here. So some big movers on the day, some big losers on the day as well, as Neil Lapidus looks like he's taking his truck off of the racetrack. A heartbreaker there for Mr. Lapidus, running into problems here early on this afternoon. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki, Joshua Ledoux, both down pit road here and off the racetrack. So heartbreaker for them. Tim Blankenbeckler, he's back in 29. Kyle Van Tassel right there in front of him. You do see that DSR Electric number 971 ride. Nate Maurer, probably not a fan of the road courses, and unfortunately already running into some pretty sizable issues here back in that 27th spot on the speedway, just trying to salvage as much as he can. As Neil says, mistakes made early, out for the rest of the race. That's a heartbreaker, Neil. That's a heartbreaker, brother. But I feel like there's going to be probably a lot of drivers that may join you with the DNF here this afternoon, man. I feel like there's going to be a lot of cats that are going to have these issues and that are going to have serious contact. We continuously see drivers having crashes and running into problems all throughout the field here. We take a look at another one of our front runners up inside the top 10. Looks like the 77, possibly going to run into some issues here as Brandon Deming trying to get everything he can, trying to hunt down that 64 ride, trying to get around the 10 ride, has to just get stopped there on the racetrack. Now that's where a lot of our wrecks or crashes that show up are drivers just getting onto the binders, virtually coming to a stop out there on the racetrack. Now iRacing and the officials, they'll throw a stationary caution flag, but you see these guys checked up here for some of that lap traffic. Unfortunately for Blankenbeckler, he's gonna be a lap down and kind of just in the way right there. And for the 71 ride of Austin Gustafson, he tries to take advantage of it, gets around the 77 and that 10 ride rather quickly. He does get a piece of that outside fence right there, but luckily enough, everyone able to keep their cars pointed in the right direction here. As now we do see Josh Peacock down on pit road here. Definitely not the spot that Peacock wants to be early in this race, as right now one of his dirt track junkie teammates towards the front of the field here. Tyson Pankow sits in position number 2 now. That gap between himself and John McCulloch has closed up here. McCulloch was about 3.5, almost 4 seconds back behind this number 91 ride, but now the 21 within 2 seconds of him. So he is closing that gap and hunting down the 91 in a quick hurry, but out in front, just running away with this one. Potentially the road course ringer here this afternoon, that Chevy Silverado. Bucky's Celsius, number 16 of Alex Pelican. Pelican out in front, leading the way here, putting another driver a lap down out there on the racetrack. Going to roll down through corner number 12 here at the street course at Chicago here, the Chicago Street Course, and across the line to click off another lap as we're already 9 laps in here. 9 laps in out of 40. They're clicking them off in a quick hurry out there on the speedway. His tower operator says Winker Nation says road races suck. I don't know if I would agree with you. I mean, they're unique, and if you do them every once in a while, they can be very fun. They can be very entertaining and interesting to watch. But for the most part, they definitely can be. When they stay clean and green out there, you don't see any caution flags, and you usually see 1 or 2, maybe 3 drivers just kind of run away with it out there on the racetrack, and that's always tough. As Shauna Rita says, Winker Nation says, who's leading? Who's leading? It's the 16 truck right here. That's who's leading, and potentially another first-time winner here with the HCK Beagles. So that's always something cool that you can see. Definitely opens up the door for drivers that may not be as good on a oval race course, but on a road course could show their strengths here and could potentially find their way into victory lane, really to spice things up here for our playoffs this year. And definitely going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to see if Alex Pelican just can continue to hit his marks. All it takes is one bad corner, one wrong move, and your night could be over in a quick hurry. You got to take your car down pit road, or having to make some huge adjustments or changes, or trying to get that truck repaired, and you could be down pit side going a couple laps down in a pretty quick hurry here in this one, as the laps continue to get clicked off here. 1 minute and 36 seconds around average here for drivers to navigate this street course, so they're clicking them off pretty quickly out there on the racetrack. In Pankow, he's starting to close that gap here a little bit. He's actually starting to reel in that 16 ride, and I feel for a lot of these drivers, as the race continues to keep on going, they're going to find more and more speed. They're going to get more and more comfortable out there. Now that complacement and getting comfy out there on the speedway could lead into making some mistakes, maybe pushing the car a little too far, a little too hard out there, and can put yourself into a tough spot in a quick hurry. As John McCulloch back there in position number 3, he's got 5 seconds between himself in this 27 right, and Nick Gardner rolls in position number 4. It's Jason LePan back in that 5th position after working himself around that Klondike 64 right at Cal Turboville, as Turboville rolls there in position number 6. Ed Kostersberger, his Tech Warrior ride, they're in 7th with Bobby Blair up into 8th, now up 14 spots on the speedway. Bobby Blair has been working his way through the field, and Jacob Grube as well. Grube was supposed to be our pole sitter here this afternoon. Started down on pit road at the back of the pack, and for the Pop Smoke 22, number 18 ride of Jacob Grube, he now rolls inside the top 10 here, making his way to the front of the pack in a quick hurry, as Gustafson slides back now into 10th. Josh Ely there in 11th. The 5 ride of Nicholas Snyder, who we saw make a green flag pit stop early in this race, he rolls back in position number 12. Ryan Peterson there in 13th. He's up 15 spots on the racetrack, having a great run as Zach Michael, last week's winner in that Rush Truck Centers number 34 ride, back in the 14th spot. Brandon Deming there in 15th. And then we see Robert McDonald there. Robert McDonald rolling there in position number 16, but hard contact up and into the outside fence for the Juke joint. Fretz for Pets in number 31. Heavy contact right there, and he's going to lose a couple spots as Mark Beverly in the non-typical number 3 ride will roll around him, and same with that 42. That's K-Dub Kevin Winker in that Muleberger Custom Homes Sonographic Designs, the Winker Nation 42 truck. He's up 7 spots. He now finds himself back in 17th, but he's actually moved up virtually about, I would say, 24, 25 positions. Started down on pit road here this afternoon as well. And for K-Dub, working his way towards that top 15 now on the speedway, able to survive so far, as Will Klein a little farther back here in the 88 right. Brandon Eastman there rounding out our top 20. Brett Summers back in 21st with Brian Chu. They're in 22nd. John Herbert, they're in 23rd with Matt Langley back in 24th. It's Robert Howard right there behind him, trying to hunt him down back in 25th as Kyle Van Tassel rolls there in 26th. And then Tim Blankenbeckler having some issues there. Blankenbeckler goes around there. Tough break there for the Friends for Pets, the Juke joint. Number 10 right out there on the speedway. Looks like he's just trying to get that truck rocking and rolling, trying to survive out there on the speedway. Unfortunately, just rolls out of corner number 2, gets on the throttle a little too much there, and unfortunately the car just hooks around, goes around in for that Friends for Pets ride. He's going to get stopped there on the racetrack and take it down onto pit road here. Unfortunately, he's parked down pit side. Same with Josh Peacock back there in 28th. Nate Maurer also taking his 971 truck off the racetrack, as we do see the 14 on Nathaniel Ostrowiecki. And the KTM Silverado does jump back out there onto the racetrack, as it does look like Joshua Ledoux also called it quits here, taking his car off the racetrack, as here comes Rob McDonald. McDonald down onto pit lane here. Matt Langley going to come down pit side, as well as that 71 machine of Austin Gustafson also making a green flag pit stop here in that WeatherTech HendrickCars.com number 71. Is out in front, continuing to lead the way. It's the Buckies. Celsius, number 16 ride of Alex Pelican, who leads the way here in this one. Tyson Pankow there in second. John McCulloch right there in third, as he's trying to race his way up to the back bumper of this 91 truck, trying to see if he can take position number 2 away. As we said, all it takes is one mistake, one wrong move, and you can get taken out a quick hurry here. As Touch Biloxi says, get him, you, get him, yo, get him, get him. Everyone's looking to get him here this afternoon, as Jeremy Vaughn says it's easy to do here. I have done it in a league I used to run when we went here. It's tough to judge on braking and timing. Yeah, it's definitely tough. It is definitely tough, unless if you have true experience racing road courses, or really know the course itself and know your braking points kind of off by heart. It's going to be a very tough race, man, and for a lot of these drivers. And for right now, it seems to be one driver out in front who potentially kind of has that gist, has that knowledge here on how the Chicago Street Course really runs, and that's Alex Pelican. As Pelican out in front, over 10 seconds between himself and the 91 ride of Tyson Pankow. There's Pankow right there. There's the 21 of John McCulloch, who tried to hunt him down, and then it's quite a little ways. There you go. There's the 27 ride of Nick Gardner. There's the 20 ride of Jason LePan, the 64 of Cal Turbeville, that 18 of Jacob Grube right there, as well as Grube looking to make his move around that 64 ride. And for Grube, he's now back up into that 6th position and not too far away from putting himself up inside the top 5 after taking the initial start and starting back behind pit wall. This 18 truck has been working his way through the field here. He may be that one driver that potentially trying to hunt down our race leader. If he's got enough time, if he's got enough left in the tank, maybe he can race his way up to the point here and see if he can make his move and maybe steal this win away. We've seen Jacob Grube be very strong at these road courses before, as Cal bounces it off the outside fence right there, able to collect it, keep it rolling out there on the racetrack. Is Mark Simmons. Is it Simmons or Simons? Mark, though, nonetheless, coming in showing the love, says, let's go, Mark. How are you, brother? Mark coming in showing the love here in this one. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're just tuning in, if you guys are enjoying the racing action here this evening, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today. Become part of the Peacemaker fam, as out there in that 6th position now is that Tech Warrior number 20 ride, as he just moved down and out of the way there, allowed Jacob Grube to get around him, and now Grube already is hunting down this 27 ride and up into position number 4. So Grube continuing to race his way to the front of the field, and you can see how quick this 18 truck is, man. He is absolutely steamrolling out there on the speedway, has the quickest lap of this race. He is a man on a mission, an absolute animal out there on the speedway, and continues to lay down some great lap times and closing the gap not only on this field, but closing the gap on our race leader. It is over 20 seconds though right now. The gap between himself in that 16 of Alex Pelican, is Pelican looking to try to put this 42 ride Kevin Wanker. K-Dub potentially about to go a lap down back in 17th as our race leader right there to his inside. Going to make that move and down the front straightaway here at the Chicago Street Course. Able to put that Muehlberger Custom Homes 42 truck a lap down out there on the speedway. Tough break there for K-Dub. Definitely did not want to go a lap down here this afternoon, but for the 42, he currently sits in that free pass position. So if we were to see somehow or another a full course caution flag, could potentially get that wave around the lucky dog and back onto the lead lap. But I think for a lot of these drivers, it's going to be very, very interesting to see, field strategy here. What is it going to be like? When do we see them come down pit side? Is it going to be a one-stop race, or do we have to see them come down pit road for green flag pit stops maybe a couple times here this afternoon? We're going to find out here in a quick hurry as this number 16 continues to pull away. Now 12-second gap between himself and this 91 truck of Tyson Pankow. Pankow has about 2.5, almost 3 seconds between himself and John McCulloch. As McCulloch there in position number 3, and then about a 5-second gap. You see that 18 truck of Jacob Grube. Grube is the one that's been battling his way through the field here and picking him off in a quick hurry and trying to race his way up to the front of the field here. And we'll have to wait and see if that Pop Smoke number 18 Rye can find his way up there to battle with Alex Pelican here this evening. This Nick Gardner, he's back there in position number 5 as Jason LePan and Cal Turbeville right there with them. And then we see Ed Koshersberger. Koshersberger in his Tech Warrior. Pop Smoke number 19 ride rolls there in the 8th position. Bobby Blair back there in position number 9. Now Bobby's up 13 spots. He started all the way back in 22nd. He now sits in position number 9 on the racetrack, trying to hunt down that 19 ride. And Nicholas Snyder, who we saw have to make a pass-through penalty earlier here in the evening, he's back there in 10th with Josh Ely there in 11th. We see Ryan Peterson, who's now one of our hard chargers out there on the racetrack. He's up 16 spots on the speedway right now in that 469 ride. Started back in 28th, now rolls in position number 12. Brandon Domingue there in 13th with Zach Michael and Austin Gustafson rounding out our top 15. Mark Beverly there in the 16th position, and you see Mark Beverly, he's potentially going to go a lap down here as there goes our race leader in that Buc-ee's number 16 ride back around him. So Beverly now the first truck 1 lap down out there on the speedway. K-Dub Kevin Winker back there in 17th with Brandon Eastman. Eastman in that 12 ride, the Auto Trader machine there in the 18th spot has Brett Summers back there behind him, but Summers going to run into problems here. He's going to go around in our 19th place driver, having some issues there on the speedway. Looks like he's able to get that rolling here once again, but the 51 rider Brian Chu looking to try to gain another spot here on the racetrack as he's now into the 19th spot. Summers back into 20th. John Herbert there scored in 21st with Kyle Van Tassel back in 22nd. Tim Blankenbeckler in that 50 ride as you see them move down to the inside. Robert Howard able to slide up and take position number 23 away from Tim. Tim slides back to 24th on the speedway. Will Klein down pit side. He scored in 25th. Robert McDonald Trench also down on pit road here. So a tough break there for the Friends for Pets, the Juke joint number 31 as McDonald back in 26. And then we see Nathaniel Ostrowiecki still rolling out there on the racetrack after a early trip down pit road for an extended period of time. That 14 truck now into the 26th spot. It's McDonald, Matt Langley, Josh Peacock all down pit road here, an extended trip down pit side. Nate Maurer, Joshua Ledoux, Neil Lapidus all down and out of this race and not still rolling out there on the racetrack or down pit road. They have taken their cars behind pit wall and potentially done here for the evening. As what's good, Kyle Phillips coming in, showing the love with the like on the stream. How are you, Kyle? Kyle coming in, dropping that thumbs up here on the broadcast as, man, this has been pretty exciting. This has been pretty interesting, man. Lap after lap after lap. These guys continue to put on one heck of a show for us. And now we see Alex Pelican blinking there a little bit. He's got to have to be careful of that as Tyson Pankow rolls in position number 2. Now the gap is about 15 seconds, but not too far away is that 18 rider Jacob Grube. Grube now into 3rd here after making his way around John McCulloch. McCulloch back into 4th, and Nick Gardner now still rounding out our top 5. But Alex Pelican, that gap is shrunk by about 2, almost 3 seconds over the last few laps. And for Jacob Grube, if he continues on this pace, if he can find that speed, and Alex Pelican doesn't find any extra speed out there on the racetrack, potentially this 18 machine may slide his way into victory lane here this evening after making a miraculous comeback and able to close that gap and hunt down our race leaders. Let's take a look here at the track map and take a real look at where these drivers are rolling on the racetrack. You can see basically the shape, the form of this speedway right there with that beautiful track map up in the other side there. There it is, way up there, way up there. It's chilling there, and it makes things very, very fun to see kind of how this racetrack is shaped, how these drivers are navigating around the speedway, as you do see that big red number 1 out there on the track. So the number 1 right here, Alex Pelican, he'll now show a green circle around that number 1, right in the middle of the map here. He's going to be able to make that corner, and you can kind of see the different sectors, the different ways around the racetrack, and the gap that he has between himself and our second and third place drivers out there on the speedway. Second and third very close. They're about to hit that midway junction right there. They hit that midway junction. You see that number 1 right. The 16 is absolutely gone. He has a huge, huge lead here and continues to try to pull away more and more and more from everybody else. But, man, it's going to be crazy to see how each and every one of these drivers just continues to keep on battling out there to see how they navigate through some of this lap traffic, how the lap traffic may handle and try to help out some of these other drivers, maybe trying to hold this 16 truck up, maybe other drivers trying to hold that number 18 truck up. If you got teammates out there, they can try to play a little defense there for you, as we do see Brett Summers head down pit road, and that Boston Web Marketing number 7 ride heads down pit side here. But out in front, it is this 16 ride clicking another lap off the board here, and they're clicking them off in a quick hurry here. We're only 36 minutes into this broadcast, and we're getting close to already seeing our midway point here this afternoon. So drivers are moving along quickly here at the road course in Chicago, the Chicago road course here this afternoon, the home for the always amazing HCK Beagles Racing League. And for all of our amazing sponsors, man, huge shout out to each and every one of them down there in that bottom right corner, always coming in, showing the love, showing the support here for all these drivers and the league, and we can't thank them enough for being a part of the HCK Beagles here again this season. As out in front, the Buckies or I heard someone call it Buseys. Buseys? Buckies. It's definitely Buckies, but the Buckies number 16 out in front. Now we'll take a look back here as we do see Jacob Groob. Groob now up into second. He was able to make the move around Tyson Pankow. So Jacob Groob just shown that he has got that raw speed. This 18 truck, he is him. He is fast. That gap is now 15 seconds between himself and our race leader, Alex Pelican. Pelican just hoping that he can try to find enough speed, or the 18 ride falls off, gets hung up in traffic enough where he won't have enough time to catch him. And even if the 18 truck can't catch him, he's going to have such a big gap and potentially such a good car that maybe he can hold him off, throw some blocks, keep him back there behind him. He's not going to give it up easily out there on the speedway, and Jacob Groob is going to have to work for maybe a lap or two to try to figure out a way to get around this 16 truck here this afternoon. As Alex Pelican out in front, you see Jacob Groob making his way past some of these other lap down cars out there on the racetrack, and now we do see Tyson Pankow. Pankow headed down pit road here, so Tyson heads down pit side. Here comes Cal Turbeville as well as the 75 ride. Bobby Blair slipping and sliding in there out of corner number 12, and he will slide up into position number 3 now on the racetrack as Pankow, Nick Garner, Cal Turbeville all down pit road here, getting some work done to their race cars and getting some fuel, getting some tires, trying to make sure that they can get to the end of this race, as only 21 laps left to go here this evening. So we're getting closer and closer to that halfway marker here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is right around the corner, and for some of these drivers continuing to run into some problems out there, having issues. You do see the 13 truck here. He's trying to keep himself going the right direction. He's got a pair of those Tech Warrior rides back there behind him. Now we do see that number 19 ride down to his inside. Unfortunately, just trying to move up and out of the way there for him. Gets a little sideways, a little slow there on the racetrack, and the 13 going to give up quite a bit of time right there and allow both of those drivers to move right on in around him. As here we go, our race leader heads down pit side. So Alex Pelican right here at the halfway marker is across the line here at the Chicago street course here this afternoon. There's that 18 truck back there behind him. Jacob Groom trying to close that gap, and that is the fight for the top spot out there on the speedway. As here we go, our race leader down pit road into his pit stall. Not very far behind him. We will see this 18 ride also head down into his pit box here this evening, as here comes Jacob Groom down into his pit box, and the 16 truck, he's done. So as soon as the 18 pulls in, he's just getting jacked up, and the 16 truck of Alex Pelican has already finished his pit stop and rocking and rolling back out there onto the racetrack here, as we only get 20 more laps of racing action here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Only 20 more laps of battling here at the beautiful Chicago Street Course, and Alex Pelican out in front, just looking to run away with it. Jacob Groove now into second, as Bobby Blair did head down pit road there. We did see Kevin Winker down pit road side as well in the 42. Everyone's starting to make those pit stops, making sure they get the fuel, tires, everything that they need out there on the racetrack to keep on rocking and rolling for the second half of the race. As Pelican able to keep on keeping that race lead, but unfortunately that gap is continuing to shrink, as here comes Jacob Groove. He is back in position number 2, and it's less than 12 seconds. It's getting closer and closer to about a 11-second gap between himself and Alex Pelican, so he's catching him in a quick hurry out there on the speedways. We're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Halfway through this race officially there at that midsection, and we're going to crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers here from the Chicago Street Course in the HCK Beagles Racing League with the Gotta Catch 'Em All 40 here from Chicago. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for all these drivers. A beautiful crank it up session here on Peacemaker Gaming. As you get a great look here at the sights and sounds around the beautiful Chicago Street Course here on Peacemaker Gaming with the HCK Beagles Racing League in the Gotta Catch 'em All 40 here this afternoon, as out in front continuing to lead this race. It's that 16 ride of Alex Pelican. Pelican out in front, showing these drivers that he is the car to beat here this evening, but he is getting hunted down in a quick hurry by that 18 rider Jacob Grube. Grube all the way back there in position number 2. He's only 4 seconds back now of our race leader. So from a driver that started down on pit road to start this afternoon, Pelican started up there in the outside of the front row. He was able to quickly take that race lead. He's led every lap so far, but now finally starting to make me feel a little bit of pressure as he sees this Pop Smoke 22 Chevrolet starting to hunt him down in a quick hurry out there on the speedway. As Grube only 4 seconds back, he can taste the blood in the water here this afternoon, and he is trying to pick up another big dub here on the HCK Beagles, looking for another win here at one of our road course races. As out in front, Alex Pelican looked to be the car to beat here this evening, but that gap is shrinking by the second out there. Pelican maybe trying to hold a little bit back here, maybe trying to save a little bit in the tank for late in this race, maybe when that 16 truck or the 18 truck catches up to his back bumper, maybe he'll have something left in pull away from Jacob Grube here. But right now it's looking like Grube's race to try to go up here and win this afternoon for the 16 Alex Pelican. It's his race to lose after leading our first 28 laps of this race. Already 28 laps of this race kind of in the history books here this evening, as you get another good look there at the track map, a beautiful track map there. You get the look and the gist of how these drivers are navigating what this racetrack is really doing as they roll around the speedway. There is some great racing action all over the speedway, all over the city of Chicago here this afternoon. Is Gregory Turner. What's good, Greg? Mr. Turner coming in, showing the love of that like on the stream. What's good, Turner? Turner coming in, showing the love here in this one. It's Alex Pelican out in front. The gap is now 3 seconds here between himself and that Pop Smoke number 18 right now. Pelican, he's going to get hung up here a little bit as the 19 ride of Ed Koshersberger here. Koshersberger, that's a teammate to that 20 or to the 18 ride, so he's not going to want to just pull over and let him go through very easily. He's finally going to let him by there as they head down the down into corner number 12 here and then back down to our front straightaway. So unfortunately for that 16 ride of Alex Pelican, maybe that little bit of a battle may have slowed him down just ever so slightly enough to all of a sudden find himself going less than 2 seconds, 2.5 seconds now. The gap between first and second. Jacob Grube is right there as John McCulloch. He's a little farther back here. He's about 41 seconds back behind Alex Pelican, actually 44 seconds behind our race leader here this afternoon for that 2021 ride. Tyson Pankow about 3 seconds back there behind him in fourth. Then we see Cal Turbeville rounding out our top 5. Nick Gardner rolls there in 6th with Bobby Blair back in 7th. Josh Ely sits in 8th with Ed Koshersberger. They're in position number 9 now, as only 8 drivers left on the lead lap here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. That's absolutely insane. 9 drivers left on the lead lap as here comes a couple of those Tech Warrior rides, unfortunately, here for Jason LePan and Ed Koshersberger. They both find themselves a lap down, but sitting currently in the 9th and 10th position on the racetrack. Brandon Ming back there at 11th with Ryan Peterson there in 12th. Austin Gustafson, after making another green flag pit stop, he's back there in 13th. Zach Michael there in 14th. Mark Beverly, Brandon Eastman, Kevin Winker, Kane Dubb back there in 17th. John Herbert there in 18th. Kyle Van Tassel rolls in position number 19, and it's Tim Blankenbeckler who rounds out our top 20 there on the racetrack in the Frets for Pence, the Juke Joint number 10 machine. Nathaniel Ostrowiecki back in 21st with Robert Howard there in 22nd. Brian Chu finds himself there in 23rd. Robert McDonald back out there as the Juke Joint Frets for Pence, and number 31 is currently scored back in 24th. It's Nick Snyder who's now down and off the racetrack here behind pit wall for the 5 right. Snyder scored back in 25th. Brett Summers, Matt Langley also off the racetrack. William Klein back there as well. Will Klein back in 28th. Josh Peacock there in 29th. Nate Maurer, Joshua Ledoux, and Neil Lapidus also out of this race. So we started with 32. Looks like we only got 24 drivers still rolling out there on the speedway, and the heat is on for the top spot. The gap has now shrunk to 1.5 seconds between first and second on the speedway. So only a second and a half as here we go. John McCulloch ends up down pit road here. So McCulloch headed down pit side. He'll fall back into position number 4 as Tyson Pankow will roll around him and take over that 3rd position once again on the speedways. Pelican out in front though, leading this race, looking to try to keep that 18 rider Jacob Grube back there at bay as they head down into this 9th corner on the racetrack. Nice and easy down through corner number 9 into corner number 10 here. There is the McDonald's logos all over the place here. McDonald's huge sponsor there at the Chicago Street Course is down into corner number 11. Nice and easy back up over the bridge here, over the hill and down into our final corner of the day. Corner number 12 out there on the racetrack. Back down this big, long front straightaway here on the streets of Chicago, and there is the gap. It is virtually nothing. That 18 truck of Jacob Grube is there. Less than a couple truck lengths between these two cats out there on the speedway. As the 16, he's been doing everything he can to try to run away from the rest of the field. Unfortunately, one driver has been able to hunt him down, close that gap, and now put the pressure onto his back bumper. As this is the battle for the race lead and potentially the battle for the win here this afternoon. As the 16 rolls out in front, Jacob Grube right there in position number 2, closing that gap. He seems very, very strong through this section of the road course, and he's able to roll that corner perfectly, get right to the back bumper of the 16 is down the straightaway. The 16 gets back onto the throttle a little bit quicker, able to build up that speed, that momentum, and pull a little bit farther away here. So now for Jacob Grube, what he's going to do is he's going to try to mind his P's and Q's right here. He doesn't want to give up too much time out there trying to figure out a way to get a move around this 16 truck. But what he's trying to do is just try to size him up. See where he's making mistakes, see where he's not as good at, and if you can try to size him up and basically get a good enough run where you can take advantage of one of the areas that he's not strong in to be able to jump up and maybe steal this race lead and maybe the race win here this afternoon, as Alex Pelican doing everything he can to try to keep him back there at bay as they battle back down into corner number 12 here and back across the start-finish line. They are going to click up another lap here at the street course at Chicago. Is down across the line. Only 8 more laps left to go. So 8 more laps to duke it out here this evening as you just see the 31 ride rolling back out onto the racetrack there. That is Robert McDonald in that Frets for Pence, the Juke Joint ride back into the action here again this afternoon as after another pit stop there for the 31 ride. But that 16, man, oh man, oh man, he's been fast. He's been solid. He's led every lap so far here this afternoon. 32 laps out in front, and since virtually probably I'd say lap number 1, maybe lap number 2, this is the closest anyone's been to the back bumper of this 16 ride to try and pass him for position on the racetrack. So it's going to be interesting to see. Maybe he was just trying to play that cat and mouse game. Maybe take care of his equipment. Maybe he's got better tires underneath of him here than the 18 truck. And now Jacob Grube maybe trying to struggle or trying to find that extra speed to be able to complete this pass. And right now, he hasn't been able to really get too close to the back bumper. He's had a couple good looks, but hasn't been able to get to the inside or the outside or trying to make a pass here for the race lead this evening. As they follow in line, nose to tail out there on the racetrack. Now they start to run into a little bit of lap traffic. That could be the area that could really open up the door here for Jacob Grube as he gets down through corner number 10 and into corner number 11. Nice and easy. You do see the 83 ride going to move over out of the way there, allow our race leaders to go by him, and now Josh Ely will go a lap down. So he's now scored as the first driver a lap down out there on the racetrack, back in the 8th position. So he's only in 8th here, but he does find himself a lap down. Only 7 drivers left on the lead lap out there on the speedway is the 21 ride. That's John McCulloch in that full send graphics, number 21. He's in position number 7 here now. He was just down pit side on lap number 30 with 10 laps left to go. He got some work done, got this truck repaired, got some tires. He's trying to lay down some really, really good lap times out there on the speedway and seeing if he can try to use that to his advantage. If everyone else has to cycle back down pit road, maybe he can gain enough ground that he might be able to steal a little couple extra spots there, maybe move himself into victory lane here this evening. But I'm pretty positive that we're going to see Alex Pelican and our race leaders able to battle here for quite a bit and not have to worry about fuel out there on the speedway. They may not have to come back down pit side, and that may be the bet that they made here this evening for each and every one of these drivers on their pit strategies. That's the gap right there. You see the 18 getting a big run right to the back bumper here of the 16 truck. They battle back down this little straightaway into another tight corner, now through the loop here, right through this little nice section. The fans in the stands, they're on their feet cheering these drivers on as they know that this is the hunt for the top spot out there on the racetrack. These two are duking it out here for the race win this afternoon, as the 16 only a couple truck lengths in front of Jacob Grube. Now they have a sizable lead and a sizable advantage between themselves and our third place driver, Tyson Pankow. So Pankow back here in position number 3. He finds himself about 58 seconds behind these two. 58 seconds back here. That is absolutely insane. 58 seconds, that is a lot of time. That is a lot of time that you are behind our race leaders. It's only about a minute and 36, 37 seconds to navigate around this racetrack, even for our race leaders. That maybe a minute and 35 seconds flat kind of deal out there on the speedway. So being already almost a minute behind them, that means that you're only about 30 seconds or so from potentially being a lap down as well. And for Tyson Pankow, our third place driver out there on the speedway, that is absolutely insane to realize that that could be it. And there we go. The move has been made. The pass for the race lead, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's take a look back at it. We knew that this 18 truck was very, very strong through this section, and he's able to find a groove, find a lane. It took him a little while to try to get this 16 truck sized up, and he's able to make the move. See 16 having to really get checked up here to make it into that corner. The 18 just rolls in there so easily, and that puts the pressure on the 16. He gets a little slideways right there, makes a little contact with the inside fence, and that allows that bump smoke 22 Chevrolet of Jacob Grube to roll around him and take that race lead away from him. So Jacob Grube now out in front leading this race. Grube now as our race leader as the 16 truck of Alex Pelican for the first time here this evening, back in position number 2 on the racetrack. So he sits there in second, but now he gets to play a little bit of offense. He gets to look to try and knock this 18 right off the top spot, now looking to try to take it away from him, as that was the first time we've seen another driver here this evening lead a lap at the Chicago Street Course here, as Jacob Grube out in front, as Robert Howard says, "Let's go, Cal." Turbovale having himself a great run here, says the Uno, is that how you pronounce that? The Uno Racing, number 64 ride, looking good out there. Robert says, "Go, Cal, go." Running down third. Woohoo, Cal. It's a bit of a gap, but he's definitely closing the gap here. It's about 6 seconds between that third and fourth place drivers. There is the 64 a little farther back here. He's got to make up some ground, but Tyson Pankow is going to look to try to hang on to that third position, try to keep himself in that podium spot out there on the speedways. The battle at the front of the field, it is not over yet. One mistake, one slip up there from that Pop Smoke 22 Chevrolet of Jacob Grube. Alex Pelican could take that race lead back away, just like we saw the 18 ride get it. So it's going to be interesting here as Rob coming in, show the love. Rob from NC, our boy, Mr. Trench. Rob McDonald in the chat as well says, wheel hop got me. Yeah, the wheel hop is definitely real, man. This is a tough racetrack. Getting onto the binders, getting onto the gas, man. Being on a completely different racing surface, even though it's both asphalt and concrete, it's completely different from the, road course surfaces to real life racetrack surfaces, man. It's such a different aspect, such a different feel. Even just driving and rolling over, trying to brake on, the yellow lines, the painted lines here on this on the roadways, makes it that much tougher, makes it that much more treacherous out there as well, and can really affect the handling of the cars. As Nicole Winker says, let's go Winker, cheering on K-Dub out there on the speedway. Unfortunately for Kev, he started down pit road here. Was supposed to start in position number 24, elected to start down on pit road, which set him back quite a bit and lost a lot of time early on. And then the 42 ride, like everybody else, has just been trying to survive here this evening and just keep that car out of trouble and point it in the right direction. He sits back in the 16th spot on the speedway. As Jacob Grube out in front, Grube continuing to lead the way here in this one. As Craig Michael Deacon, what's good, Craig? Cranger coming in, showing the love. Dropping that like on the stream as Gregory Turner also with that thumbs up here. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you guys have been enjoying the racing action here from the Chicago Street Course in the HCK Beagles Racing League here in the Gotta Catch 'em All 40 here this afternoon, man, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that follow and subscribe button right now. And if you're feeling courteous, man, make sure you hit the follow, hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family. And if you want to help us out even more, hit that join button, become a part of the Peacemaker members group over there on YouTube. Become a member here, an exclusive member, earn access to some very cool emotes that we have, personalized emotes of myself that you get to use in the chat and everything else. And you can also follow or subscribe over on our Twitch and our Facebook channels as well, where you can access these emotes and have some fun, become part of a really cool exclusive Peacemaker Sub Club is what we call it over on YouTube. It's the Members Club, but nonetheless, it's a ton of fun, some great action, and we see this great action here at the front of the field as out in front with only 3 laps left to go, really down to about 2.5 laps left here from the Chicago Street Course. These guys have been laying down the laps in a quick hurry. These two out in front have been setting the pace, and right now there's only 6 drivers left on the lead lap, and John Mikulich back in 6th. He's not too far away from our race leaders here. They're only about 8 or so seconds back behind him, and he could potentially be at risk going a lap down here as well. But that gap right there, it's only 0.8 of a second between first and second. About a minute and 3 seconds, almost a minute and 4 seconds back. You see that 91 ride of Tyson Pankow. Pankow rolls there in position number 3 with Cal Turbeville back there in 4th. Bobby Blair rounding out our top 5 here. Blair's been on a heck of a run here. A couple of those Ridge Power Sports KR Gunners rides have been on a tear here in this race. Bobby Blair up 17 spots. There goes that 50 ride. Going to go for a loop-de-loop right there. That's a tough break for Robert Howard, as Howard's going to get turned around. He's going to take that truck right down pit side, as there's our race leaders going around him. So luckily enough, he was able to get out of the way and off the racetrack before our race leaders had to deal with a spun out number 50 machine. As Jacob Grube leads the way, only 2 more laps left to go here. 2 more laps, but as we were saying, Bobby Blair started all the way back in 22nd. Now rolls in that 5th position in that Ridge Power Sports KR Gunners number 75 ride, and a little farther back behind him, just outside the top 10. Also up 17 spots here. A share of our hard charger here this evening is that 469 Ridge Power Sports KR Gutters, number 469 machine of Ryan Peterson. Peterson, he's up 17 spots, started back in 28th, sits there in 11th. Unfortunately, he's about 14 seconds away from Ed Konchersberger, trying to work himself into the top 10 here. So, unfortunately, he's going to need some serious issues to go wrong for that Silverado Tech Warrior number 19 ride, as him and LePan teammates there back in 9th and 10th on the racetrack. Is Josh Ely right there in front of him in that dirt Track Junkies number 83 machine. He's got a little bit of a gap here, but within striking distance of this number 27 of Nick Gardner for that 7th spot on the speedway. John McCulloch there in 6 as he rounds the corner right there. Right behind him, not too far away, there's our race leaders. It's down and out of corner number 12 and back down across the line here at the Windy City 100. It is the HCK Beagles trucks taking that white flag here at the Chicago Street Course here this evening. Jacob Grube sees that white flag fly, our final lap of the evening, and this is the battle between first and second. Less than 1 second out there on the racetrack between the two of them as they battle down this straightaway into our next set of corners, and this is where the 18 ride has really shown a ton of speed here. He has looked really, really good through this section right here. And for the 16, he struggled pretty heavily, and this is where we saw him make that mistake that allowed the 18 of Jacob Grube to get around him here. And there you go. He's able to get through there nice and easily. Now you see some issues there. The 16 of Pelican down the racetrack into the outside fence right there. And unfortunately, a little more right side damage for that Celsius Bucky's ride. And they're going to be able to work themselves around some lap traffic right there, as that is McCulloch. I call him lap traffic. That's our 6th place driver going a lap down out there on the racetrack. Our 6th place competitor now down a lap out there on the speedway. And for the final time down here through corner number 8, 9, and 10 on the racetrack. Jacob Grube nice and easy through corner number 10. Hard onto the binders here. Has a little bit of lap traffic between him as McCulloch is going to get dumped right there. Pelican trying to get his way through. Unfortunately, had that lap traffic. They make contact. Makes it nice and easy. Down in at corner number 12 for the final corner here this evening from the Chicago Street Course here with the HCK Beagles. The gotta catch 'em all 40 is gonna go to Jacob Grube. Grube able to hunt them down and put himself up and into victory lane. Another big win here for Grube and another road course dub for that number 18 machine. As Grube up and into that top spot, you do see Cal Turboville right there as well. Looked like Cal potentially went a lap down out there on the racetrack. He's going to keep on racing though, nonetheless, for that 64 ride as he scored back in that 5th position. Tyson Pankow, he's there in 3rd. He's looking to still finish this race. As he rolls in that 3rd position, he's got to finish it yet. He's still got a few corners left to go here for that Dirt Track Junkies 09 engraving, laser engraving ride as he rolls nice and easy down through corner number 10 into corner number 11. Then HCK Beagles Dirt Track Junkies number 91 ride at Tyson Pankow down the final little bit of straightaway here into corner number 12. Nice and easy out of that 12th quarter and back down across the start finish line. Pankow will come home here in position number 3 behind our race leader by quite a bit as Bobby Blair, he's looking to get done his race back here in 4th. And Cal Turboville, the last driver, scored technically on the lead lap here this evening as McCulloch unfortunately did get taken around right there, did go a lap down, so only 5 drivers going to finish this race as the 91 of Tyson Pankow rounding out our top 3. There goes that 75 ride of Bobby Blair across the line. He scored there in 4th of 18 spots on the racetrack, and Cal there in position number 5, rounding out our top 5 here this evening, man. What a run, what a race. That was pretty crazy, man. Some absolutely wild racing action here this afternoon. A couple more drivers still getting ready to try to finish and cross that line here. Is celebrating and picking up the win here this afternoon. It's Jacob Grube. Grube started down on pit lane here. Was supposed to be our pole sitter. Decided, you know what, maybe that's too easy. Went down, started on pit road. Everyone else was under throttle, rolling down the front straightaway into corner number 1. He got rolling from pit lane. Had to use pit lane speed all the way down into that first corner, and then he started to go to work and started to click him off, working himself methodically up and through the field. And as our race leader Alex Pelican had opened up a sizable 20+ second lead, Jacob Grube back there trying to hunt him down, trying to close that gap slowly but surely, was able to inch away, get to his back bumper, make that move, and pick up the win here at the Windy City this afternoon. The Chicago Street Course, man, putting on a heck of a show for us, and we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews. And Jacob, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Hey, I got you, Aaron.
Jacob, man, what a run, what a race for you, man. Take us back through this one as we saw you, supposed to start on the pole. You start down on pit road. Maybe it was going to be too easy for you if you started out in front. You wanted a little bit of a challenge, and you kind of got one as you had to work yourself through all the chaos, all the carnage, and all these amazing drivers that were battling out there on the racetrack, and then you had to close that gap. And slowly but surely, you start to click off those seconds and hunt down that 16 run of Alex Pelican, and once he got there, it seemed like he kind of stalled out, couldn't quite figure out a way to get around him, just waiting for him to make a mistake, and that's exactly what happened. As soon as he ran into a problem, you were able to jump right on top of it, make that pass, and steal this win away from that 16 machine, man. Take us back through this race and what's kind of going through your mind here as you're going to celebrate here in downtown Chicago.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. I just want to first thank the team. We put in a lot of work practicing, so it's nice to have it come out. But no, I definitely did not want to start from the pits or anything like that. That wasn't planned. I accumulated some penalties from last week. Racing a little hard last week and had some mistakes. So I had to serve a couple penalties to start this thing. But yeah, that's kind of I wouldn't have planned that because that's kind of suicidal to have to run up through the pack like that. Thankfully, though, I was able to stay out of trouble and just had saved enough fuel to make it so it was just a one-stop race and yeah, so it was lots of fun. This is my style of racing. I really prefer this, so I had a lot of fun practicing. I turned a lot of laps in practice, of course. So.
Absolutely. Turn a lot of laps, making sure you kind of realize and remember and kind of, size up where your braking zones are and where your strengths and weaknesses are and what trying to do during this race to take advantage of those, good corners out there on the racetrack. We saw you're really strong. I do believe it's down in 4, 5, and 6, something like that, where it seemed like you were really, really strong there, and you were closing the gap a lot every lap on that 16 ride. It seemed like he struggled down there, and that's exactly where you made the pass for that race lead, as you were able to close the gap, get right back to his rear bumper. I think he was looking in that mirror a little bit too much, got onto the binders, got into that inside fence, and you were able to make that pass and drive right around him there, using that set of corners to really your strength out there all afternoon.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Yeah, hats off to the 16. Alex, he was fast, but he was making the same mistake most everybody was making on that turn. They kind of treat it as like a double apex, and I just sort of treat it like it's just a big banked corner and just roll around there. So, yeah, that was kind of where I was making my time up, and then out of a couple other corners, if I got lucky, maybe they'd spun their wheels or something. But it was hard. Having to keep the throttle under control and just babying it, and that second run I was saving fuel to be able to make it, so I think that also helped to keep the tires underneath me.
Yeah, absolutely, saving fuel, making sure you got enough left in the tank here to pick up this checkered flag, and you're able to time everything perfectly as you park yourself up and in the Chicago Street Course Victory Lane. Jacob, who would you like to thank, man, for such a strong run and great race out there on the Speedway?
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Just want to thank our sponsors, Pop Smoke, for getting on the truck, and glad to get them a win. So, and thanks to the team and you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Jacob, we look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack. Unfortunately, next week, not another road course, but it's going to be a lot of fun nonetheless, and I'm sure we'll see you out there battling, duking it out, and trying to put yourself right back into victory lane.
Thanks, Aaron. See you next week.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for Jacob Grube, our race winner here this evening. Is Grube able to get it done and pull himself up and into victory lane, man? What a run and what a drive there for him, as we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher here. Now he's down in his Discord, and he's got the live feed up for him and his teammates to potentially look at and see what they were doing differently out there on the racetrack, but we're going to pull him up here anyway. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our second place finisher, the driver who led the most laps here this afternoon. in front for, well, I think 33, 34 laps, something like that, 32 laps, something that he led here this evening. He was very, very fast, very good all evening long, as my boy Tubbs Milner says. No, that man had a penalty, and he had to start in the pits. Yeah, he had to start in the pits, and I think that penalty was probably deserved, but I honestly, I thought maybe he just decided that he wanted the challenge or something here tonight, man. He made it look too easy. I don't know, man. If this was Martinsville or Bristol or something, he'd be 3-4 laps down in a very tough spot. It didn't seem like that penalty was very tough for him here tonight. Maybe just good luck on that half and being the right track the next week after getting that penalty. So lucky break there for really 18 truck, able to survive, able to get through that carnage, and being able to have enough time to hunt down that 16 ride and put himself up into victory lane. And now we'll get ready to pull Alex in for his post-race interview. Hey, Alex, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Alex, man, a very strong run, a great race all evening long, and leading, most of the laps here this afternoon. I think 32, 33 laps or something. You were out in front, and finally you had some competition as the 18 truck of Jacob Grube had caught you, had tracked you down, was putting that pressure to your back bumper. You were able to hold them off there for a little while. Then a mistake down there on the racetrack looked like maybe a little bit of a wheel hop, or maybe just spinning the tires a little bit. And unfortunately, you kind of got a little sideways, got some contact with that inside fence, and that opened up the door for him to jump up, steal that race lead, and run away with this one. Unfortunately, just couldn't close that gap back up and couldn't get back to his rear bumper to try to do something there late in the race.
Yeah, I mean, I was honestly surprised it took him that long to catch me. I think he was a second and a half, maybe more, faster in qualifying. So I wasn't surprised, but I was just hoping maybe there if we could catch a couple breaks and maybe a couple lap cars would hold him up and we get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at the time that he was back there, it seemed like maybe he had a big enough cushion. Maybe he was too far back to be able to hunt you down. But unfortunately, here in this one, he did track you down, took that win away from you. But you were right there in position number 2. Keep putting the pressure on his back bumper, waiting for him to potentially make that mistake. Unfortunately, just never came for you here this afternoon as you had to settle in the second place run. But you gotta still be pretty happy with your performance. And if the 18 ride, if something happened to his internet or he didn't show up here tonight, man, you would have been up here in victory lane yourself.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think this is the first race I think I finished on the lead lap this season. So hopefully we can just keep building off that.
Absolutely, keep building, riding that momentum right into our next race. As Alex, a huge congratulations on the second place finish here. The strong run all evening long, and man, who would you like to thank for this great run here in the Windy City?
Oh man, I'd like to thank all my teammates and all the sponsors that let us do this and put this league on, and everybody that runs the league, and you for broadcasting.
Absolutely, brother. Well, Alex, a great run, great race, and we look forward to seeing you back out there on the racetrack next Tuesday, and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth, right in that momentum, maybe right into victory lane next Tuesday afternoon.
That'd be all right. I'd be all right with that. See you next week.
Beauty. See you next week, brother. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up for our second place finisher, Alex Pelican. Pelican coming home there in position number 2 as we'll get ready to pull in now our third place finisher. It's Tyson Pankow. Pankow back there in that third spot here. Took him a little while extra to get this race done, but he was able to get it done and lock in that third place finish here as they were battling down Columbus Drive and all these amazing street beautiful streets of Chicago, Illinois here this afternoon, and Pankow able to come home in position number 3. Let's get him up here into the broadcast booth. Hey, Tyson, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Tyson, man, a strong run, a great race here for you, man. After qualifying in third, you're technically able to start on that pole position here this evening. You tried to battle with that 16 of Alex Pelican there for a little while, and then all of a sudden he started to pull away. You're struggling there a little bit, and you had to kind of settle in for a third-place run here tonight, man, after things kind of got stretched out and everyone just trying to battle out there and figure out what they can do. I mean, you just kind of settle in there for a little while as you end up finishing, a little bit over a minute behind our race leaders.
Oh, listen, I knew I was probably going to finish top 5. I think Alexander, I think he qualified 7/10 faster than me, and then Jacob, he was just in a whole different zip code, and I was just trying to run my race and race the racetrack, and it was a good points day, and it worked out. Me and John, we had a little bit. We kind of playing some cat and mouse. He'd catch me, and then I'd turn the wick up a little bit, and was able to keep about a 2-second gap there, and he did get by me, and I was trying to save fuel. I didn't want to have to make an extra pit stop for just fuel, so I went into save mode and actually ran out as we crossed the finish line. So it worked out.
Worked out perfectly. The calculator was right on point here this afternoon. It's thanks to you park it up in position number 3. Definitely a turn of the tables from what we originally watched you race on and battle on out there on the racetrack, man. Going from the dirt track to starting to dabble and race on the road on the asphalt side of things, and now here in the road course, the streets of Chicago. Man, it's got to be a whirlwind of trying to figure out these trucks and these rides, and not only trying to run in an oval race course with these NASCAR trucks, but now in a road course as well, man. How did you do it? How did you figure this thing out to be able to put yourself up here in position number 3?
Our bulletproof side of the motorsports thing, we've ran quite a few 24-hour races, road course stuff. I think we've ran 4 or 5 Daytona 24s and some 12-hour Sebrings and a mix of all those other things. So I've got some road course experience, just not in this heavy truck. A GT3 goes around the track a whole lot better on a road course than what this truck does. So I've got a little bit of experience, but nothing like what Jacob and obviously Alexander has. They were a class of the field for sure.
Absolutely. Well, you settle in for 3rd here, as he said, a very solid points day here at the racetrack. Thanks, and who'd like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there in the Windy City this afternoon?
I got to thank DTJ. Tubbs brought us all together, and me and the 3 Joshes and William we're working hard. We've probably put 100 laps on this track last week preparing for this, and without them, I wouldn't be racing this league. 09 Laser Engravings, Josh Ely, look him up, does awesome work. Dirt Track Junkie Speed Shop, look them up. And also just want to thank Tubbs. Tubbs is the team owner, and he's gave us a place to race, and HCK for putting the league on and everything they do. It's a big undertaking, and you for the broadcast.
Absolutely, brother. Well, thanks, and great run, great race, solid 3rd place finish for you here in Chicago, and we can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Tuesday. Luckily enough, it is not going to be a road course. We'll go back to the ovals and see if you can try to park yourself back up here inside the podium, maybe up in victory lane next Tuesday.
We're going to try. Probably not, but we're going to try.
Beauty. Well, we look forward to seeing you out there no matter what.
Have a good one.
You too. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our top 3 there, our 3rd place finisher. Thanks to Pankow. Pankow coming home there in position number 3. Very solid run. Great drive for him here this afternoon. Unfortunately, that will do it for us here in this one. The racing action coming to a close. Man, that was a lot of fun. That was some great racing, some tight battles out there even towards the end. And these guys put on a great race for us, right from the drop of the green flag right down to the checkered flag. And we can't wait to see you guys back out there on the racetrack in the next one, as we'll be live tomorrow night back to the dirt track here on Peacemaker Gaming as the Wednesday night street fights go back to battle in the Dirt Warrior Racing League. We look forward to seeing you guys right here in the grandstands cheering those drivers on. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out, ladies and gentlemen.
Friends for pets! flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might. Trucks flying through the night, NASCAR dreams within our sight. Asphalt heroes in the fight, peacemakers gaining light so bright. Revving it up, feel the pace, speed hounds in the race. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Thrill the place, thrill the place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Feel the thrill, feel the chase, victory is our holy place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. Every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Throttle down, no time to waste, in this high-octane haste. In this high-octane haste, every corner, every taste, leads us closer to first place. Under lights, the engines scream, this is more than just a dream. Through the asphalt like a beam, racers' hearts with fervor gleam. In this game we find our might, push the pedal like the night. With each lap our spirits flight, racing on with all our might.